Royalties of peace, turning the storm back to peace that has no storm, looking on to perfect peace. How are we all doing today? Yes, finally we made it into June. Our video was on Wednesday and it happened to be the 31st of May, a day before June. Did we start our celebration very early because I understood that before we get to the next Wednesday, it will already be a week after the beginning of June. Today, I want us to partake of that beginning of June, that welcoming of June, the first week of June. It has been great. It has been great in Massachusetts. We've had really great weather. It's summer, but you'll not believe how fresh the weather is. It's like just the beginning of spring. It's like just the beginning of spring. It is fresh, and this is my weather. I really appreciate how June got itself presented of this year, 2023. We've had some rains and not too much rain, but nice weather of being able to go out and have fun. It's really a new kind of a June when it comes to talking about June, a month of celebration, graduations, marriages, reunion, gatherings. It's all about outdoors. That this first week of the month has really been great. And my kind of outdoor, if you should ask me, is my kind of outdoors experience that I would want to have, even though I didn't get to go out yet. But I have been so impressed and wish I had planned even better for the coming of June than I did receive June. It is always very important. What I've learned is it's very important to always be prepared, even if it happens or not. Even if you get to go to the occasion or not, you should be prepared. You should already be prepared that even if the day comes and no one shows up, be able to still take pictures and make yourself a great feast and be happy. Never miss your day because of others not showing up. Never you miss your happiness because you're expecting others to be part of it, to applaud. Yes, all about youthfulness. Did I say June is all about youthfulness? Do not make another be a reason for your happiness not being accomplished, except they are intruders. If they are not present, you can make it all on your own. You can make it happen. You can make it happen, especially of these days when we have internet abilities to be able to reach out to people, even like in the minute on Zoom. We have video calls and all that, and even TV expressions that you can work with to make your day be fulfilled of like being among people. To not make your June or summer vacation be not of expected, at least of your best. Be prepared before time. You can dress up and look good even at home and have a great celebration. Decorate like party. You need not people to be there to see your decoration. Only yourself can be impressed of your decoration. Do not think of it being like waste of money. What you should be able to do with a tree, let it be the seed ability to receive. It is worth it. Don't decorate like only for one person. Decorate like you're decorating for people. You may say, oh no, it's waste. I tell you the best that you can enable it for your happiness. For time pass by. You're not here to last. Here last. Then you will. Royalties of peace, turning the storm back to peace that has no storm looking unto perfect peace. This is June. And my water day today is the 7th of June 2023. So I bring to us our video on matrimonial relationship, matrimonial relationship. Of after watching the video, the previous video, would you get to understand that I've been trying for us to get the understanding, the grasp of what union is, why we are so concerned about getting married. True, when you come into this world, what they put before you first is education. After getting your education, oh, the career. After having the career, this is for someone who is going through the process normally. After having the career, suddenly it's like all was a waste. You have your parents coming in asking you, you are still alone, you're still single, you want to be a bachelor forever, and you're like, but I went to the school and had the degree that you wanted, and I'm feeding you, I'm taking care of you. Is this all about your life? Is this how you're going to end all alone in this big house, in this mansion, all alone? Like, who wants to be here with you? You going to work all the time, and I staying home alone. All that going on. We have watched movies, we have experienced even of our own families of how parents are on the head of those after the pondering of the mind with education to complete, to have another new school of, have you found the one? And it's like, do I have to go to school to find that one? It's like a magical picking out of someone, which is not even what it is. And clock is ticking. You're like, clock is ticking. It's like, Mama, is my clock ticking in your what? Why are you at my door with this message? You came to visit me and not to tell me how my clock is ticking. If my clock is ticking, it should be ticking in me and not in you. Interestingly, our clocks tick even in our mothers. They brought us into this world. That you'll be saying, even aunties and uncles, even, I tell you the truth, they all, is like, it's a genetic ticking of the clock that they all have of each other, and we all part of it. Must we begin to understand how to really work with this matrimonial, so such that no matter who comes your way, no matter who comes your way to pair up with you after your graduation, should be one that you're able to work with. That if you understand the real meaning of matrimonial, the real meaning of marriage, you will not struggle. You will not struggle because you can have a wife, you can have a husband, you can have children without enabling the complicated side of matrimonial. Was I trying to explain of the last video that when a child is in the house with their parents and expecting their father to tell them that you are matrimonial married to me, you're matrimonial unified with me, without understanding it already of the experience at home of being part of the house, it's really sad. It's really sad how growing up we never got to understand this, that of every house that you are in, you are matrimonially married to the house. What is polygamy? What is what is this marriage that you can marry two men, two women? Like, that has been a problem to the past until today of you cannot get married. Today we're trying to emphasize that you cannot get married to another spouse when you already have another spouse and all that. This emphasis is because of the complicated that exists in matrimonial, which they're trying to address, but by of you self discovering it like a treasure. It's like a treasure hidden that you have to discover it. Then when you find it, you're grateful. And more of like a test given, you will not expect your teacher to answer your questions for you. Then you haven't passed the exam. The exam of marriage. Marriage is another school you're getting into. After all the degrees of, no matter how many degrees you want to have, if you care, you marry and still want to go to school. It's up to you. All what we have of education is more of like a practical to get to the real thing. The real thing is marriage. The real thing, the real school is marriage. That even before education even started of having classrooms, marriage already was the first of existence of two put together. Two put together. I just hope I'm making some sense why we really have to talk about matrimonial. You may say, Maris, are you married? Have you experienced marriage? Look at who has been talking to me about marriage when she herself has already had a jeopardy of a marriage. The lessons we make out of relationship will help the young. When you cultivate a knot of expected, your ground, you will know what the problem is. And when you find a solution, you don't keep it to yourself. You make sure you inform all farmers. You make sure you inform all farmers because you want all your produce to be good. If you don't inform all farmers, they will come at your door expecting you to share what you have of food with them, and it will not be enough, looking the same like you did not even put the solution to the problem to the ground. If you really want your solution that has been applied to the ground to be successful of your produce, you must tell every other farmers so that your produce will really show of its product and not others coming at your door looking for a piece of your product already of expected outcome. Will you be left with very little than the expected outcome that you needed? It is very important to share. And when you share, it's up to them to appreciate and not carry the name of another on them. Everyone has a responsibility in this world. Like I have said, even after going to the school and finishing and graduating with your PhD and PhD after PhD, what the parents are looking for is the right marriage. It's not even about the school that your parents have been pushing you to go. School, 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 school from the beginning of your life, waking you up in the morning, preparing you for school, sending you to school, yelling at you about school, weeping on you about school, all about school. Have you finished your homework? All is all about this matrimonial. That when you finish from your graduation and having your career and feeling comfortable in that nice suit or glass house up there, that is not enough. You are just only getting stable to get to the real thing, which is marriage. Where is your husband? Where is your wife? Where are the children? Can you raise a home? Can you make a home? Can you care for people? If you say my job is enough family to me, you have lied. That is to your boss, not to your parents. That is to your boss, not to your parents. That is to the government, not to your parents. You can answer the government's own part of life of having a job and keeping to the work of expected, but your family, your bloodline have their own and that you must be able to accomplish. And that is the matrimonial. Will you say, so are you saying I should go and get married? What is marriage? Marriage is the one you get to be with of one union. Did I say that? Marriage is the ability to be able to be faithful to find trust. The ability to find someone with whom you can be faithful with to find trust. If you are not able to be with one that you can work with faithfully to find trust, then you haven't found matrimonial relationship of expected. You will find others divorcing, married. The more divorce, the more failure, the more breaking of self-trust. The self-trust here is the shadow called lust. The more you get into more relationships, your lust breaks. The lust after others break, and some begin to call it more of like drunkening. If you're not satisfied with one and having more, your lust becomes a jeopardy. The beautiful lust becomes a complicated lust. Lust is beautiful. Some will say, I fell in love only with one woman, and with the one woman I've been to today, I really appreciate the lust that when you tell someone like that, I just dislike lust, would they tell you mine? The first day I saw my wife, I lusted after her and nothing else I could not eat until I had to get married to my wife. And with my wife today, with our mistakes, we work together and correct our mistakes, our lessons, we carry on. We that is what we so parents that's what parents want to hear. But the question now is, marriage is not meant for mistakes. Matrimonial is not meant for mistakes. That when we have found a solution, did I say, when you are the farmer that has found a solution to the ground, the solution of the ground to enable a good produce of your farming, you must be able to share it on to all others before they come to your door and break your own into pieces. It is very important to share the idea. Have I said marriage is all about being faithful with each other until you find trust? Did I say that in the last video of the brother that was trying to explain about his videos that I watch, Mr. Whitefield, very, very important show. Did I watch several of them, and I was very impressed of how much lesson that they bring, adding on to what we have of experience. It's very important to put all heads together. And I begin to really even affirm more on what I have come to understand about relationship. The complicated that exists in relationship is this idea of we must make our own children. We must make our own children. Then what will the others become? Like disabled? That you even had to start at someone's face and tell them marriage is not for everybody? And when some are claiming, oh no, marriage is nothing about children, marriage is nothing about children. But at the end, it's about children. And some saying, um, if you have not children, you are not married. Would some parents come into the house and tell you, if you have no children of your own, then you have no legacy? Should adopting be okay? Some parents don't want adopting into their relationship. Like, what linkage are you bringing in? What bloodline are you bringing into the family? What is marriage all about? We must be able to enable the solution of marriage. If you have given me that need of getting married, and I have proven to you that I cannot bear a child, why will you force me to have one? Now, if I can bear a child, should I bear a child? If my sister cannot have a child, my sister is disabled, what is a child to a marriage that is important? We all can get married. We all can get married, disabled or not. But if a child is what another cannot have, why is a child the most important part of the relationship? To keep the line, the generation line. How do we keep a generation line? Is it not mixing with other relationships, with other families? If the child that I'm going to bring to the house is not of expected and not of certain, what about the man himself? If you have to choose the man, also choose the child. I won't mind. Relationship is not about what will come out of you. It's what you will work with to get to the place of trust. It's about who you will be with if no one is there. And even this one there, you're never sure of them being there. But you want someone that you can work with of the most of possibility to be there. Will not be a sibling, but one that devotes themselves of we will be together. And it takes this document signing and the church blessing this relationship. They need to be faithful with each other to find trust. In the beginning, have we not found trust? We are still in the place to go find trust, and that takes lusting after each other. When we understand lust is the strong force of love, uncontrollable, that we are trying to control by self-guarding and keeping self-expected. Trusting each other. Do we only have the end goal with us of trust? We hold on to it while practicing a new school of practicing until we reach that end of finding trust, a strong admiration of someone, the definition of lust. And it takes hopes, someone alike to you. Surely we'll have some differences, but differences that you can work upon. Sometimes their differences can even be more stronger than the unlikeness that you have, than the likeness that you have with each other. Must we be able to know the relationship we enable? Some triggers bring out some unlikeness that we're not expecting that are stronger than the likeness. How will you work with this one, with this kind of complicated when it comes to matrimonial relationship? Understanding is all about being faithful with each other until we reach trust. The month of June. It is very important to keep your youthfulness. You must be able to find someone with whom your likeness is compatible and can overpower your unlikeness. Now, what if the unlikeness is uncontrollable? You can live together in separate rooms. The unlikeness can only be complicated when the child is always the business in the relationship. Just like how you find friends in school, that's how your matrimonial relationship will be. Must not have anything to do with having children. And if you have not found trust, how do you even think of bringing a child into a relationship? Must we really reflect on why we bring children into a relationship? It's about the bloodline. You're trying to keep a bloodline without finding trust. The same reason why your parents are knocking at your door. Would that be the same reason you'll be knocking at your own child's door tomorrow? Bloodline. Is it really about bloodline or is it about trust? We are trying to find trust, not trying to keep a lineage of bloodline with no trust in it. Having siblings even falling apart. An empire today not even present. We know of so many empires today and kingdoms who are not even kingdoms and that are not even kingdoms anymore. Is it about lineage or is it about trust? Trust, perfect peace of mind is the only trust we know, which is possible only of ascending. We are at the state of ascending. We need to, after this education that we have had, to enable the end goal of expected, being the upgraded of our ancestors, must be able to reach this perfect of expected. And when we find the truth, we should be able to share with each other, to work with it to expected outcome of all enabling produce of expected and even overflowing of produce of knowledge of how to travel this road of love. The love here, the shadow of trust. If we fall apart, we must be able to understand the lesson that we have achieved is still us together. We should not feel like we have lost everything or be discouraged. We must still be able to see the relationship that is still going. So I'm trying to enable this blindfold of I already left the man and the man is no longer with me. Now I have a new man. It is obvious that the other is still living in you. The lesson that you have learned from the other relationship is the marriage, is the matrimonial you still have. Of wherever you're going, that one will strike into your mind of, oops, I remember that. Every time you remember that, it is that one still part of your life. It's like it's ended, but it's not ended. It still continues in the shadow form. The shadow form even more the real person than the person you met with a complicated side. It's time we begin to really rejuvenate what marriage is. No one is forgotten. When we claim that we have forgotten the other, we only jeopardize the next relationship. The other grows by the lesson we make. And with the lesson, we're able to overcome the complicated of making enemies and making a jeopardy in the children's life, especially when you come from a marriage with other children, coming to another children. It's impossible you can tell the children of the last relationship that your father is no longer with me. It's impossible. It is impossible. Tell the children the truth. Don't bring them confusion. Because if you say my father is not with you, but I have to go to my father and I have to talk about my father with you every day, it doesn't make any sense. Don't confuse the children. If we really want to grow youthfulness, we have to be able to express to the children of expected what is going on healthily. Don't tell them, I'm not with your father, is not my husband, this is my husband, this is your new father, but you can always go, you have two fathers now, and all that. And all that, but I'm not living with the other. The other can come and take their son, but they're not. Then you still have this protection and restrictions of the other, and the other child father has more ability than the other because he's the present and mine is the past. All this that we have enabled should be able to give us some mindset about this school of greater than all schools we've gone to, called matrimonial school, that we end up with in our life, even at aging. All we look upon is the matrimonial. When you go to a nursing home or when you face our aging parents, the two holding their hands is all that they know. When they retire, oh my, that's when you really understand the real school is marriage. When they hold their hands and tell each other, this is all we have. Even after all the wealth and after all the celebrations, this is all we have, two of us. When one is about to pass, the heartbeat of each other, the house begins to feel like a holy ground. It's a different feel from what it's like of the school ground and all that. It's a different experience we have when it comes to matrimonial relationship. Our aging, we can learn from. Some will not tell us all the truth, but what we have of the basic is enough. You don't need to know about the 3D dimensions. A box is a square or a triangle. You need not know a box, but just the square and the triangle is enough to know the shape of what it is. Did I say you need not go to the ocean to know what water is like? Or a drop is enough than going to face a whole storm of the ocean that will even derail your mind from understanding what a drop is like or what water is. Carried away by the complicated waves, you will not even want to have anything to do with water. Of which, if you give a child the water in a cup, they will admire it and pour it on themselves. But if you show the child an ocean with the roaring of waves, the child will never want to have anything to do with water. It's important for us to establish the expected of marriage to heal our world, of the true marriage that we look forward to is the peace that has no storm, when we all will combine of all drops of battlefield free mind back to one battlefield free, where you have no difference between each drop. Will they be water? Unable to pick them out distinctly because of their equality and reciprocal knowledge of fullness of battlefield free. This is June, all about celebrations. Did I say I must start this day expressing about matrimonial. We'll get to talk more about the ticking of the clock. And all what really is signifying is, have you gotten the answer yet? Because the parents haven't gotten it yet. We are the ones to make the answer. Why you get up and prepare your children for school, you don't even understand why you're preparing your children for school. But when you reach that age of them getting out of college and you're like, it's a different show now. It's different from how I used to prepare you to go to kindergarten. It's much more of marriage. It has nothing to do with school that we've gone to. Marriage is the real school. When school was much more of like going to the playground, preparing you to go to the playground, now it's like real in school. That when you're going to school, it's like, what are you going to school for? You have to stay and focus on your marriage. Stay and focus on your marriage. Job, you can have a job because you have to sustain your marriage. But school, what is school? What do you need more school for? Focus on your marriage and understand the marriage for the sake of our ancestors, for the sake of perfect peace, for the sake of the true matrimonial that awaits us, of ascending of battlefield free. I hope this first video of June gives us a worthy reflection into the youthfulness we must be of battlefield free. Thank you, Royalties, of watching, and stay tuned for next Wednesday. Peace stills the storm back to peace that has no storm, looking unto perfect peace.